Tennessee Titans fans, welcome back. It is Friday afternoon, and today we are checking out more clips of people talking about the Tennessee Titans, and I have no idea what to expect from this one, because this is the Carton Show. I don't think I've ever watched the Carton Show. No disrespect. Just there's a lot of shows out there. I haven't run across this one, but this is them talking about whether or not the Tennessee Titans are a sleeper team. Are the Titans a sleeper? Are they a sleeper? I don't know. But that's what they're talking about. This is what we're checking out today on the channel. I don't know what to expect. Here we go.
His receiving core with Tennessee. Craig, are we all sleeping on the Titans this year?
I mean, I'm not. I think the Titans are going to be good. Obviously, it all depends on what their second-year quarterback, Will Levis, becomes.
Yeah.
We all know he's got a crazy strong arm, but you got to be accurate and understand an offense. But, this is a team that didn't just add on offense. You do have Calvin Ridley, the guys that, DeAndre's talking about there. But they also added L'Jarius Sneed on defense, who is arguably top 3, 4, 5 cornerback, in all of football.
And that move doesn't get enough credit. If L'Jarius Sneed was added to the Colts or the Cowboys, it would be a game changer for those teams. He gets added to the Titans, and he's just an afterthought to the media, right? L'Jarius Sneed is one of the top corners in the league. That's a big addition. That's what I've been saying.
So if Will Levis is just a little bit better than average, the Titans are going to win a lot of football games this year. Don't sleep on Tennessee.
I mean,
that's important too. Will Levis, not saying he's going to come out and be a Hall of Famer, but if he can just be good, if he could just be better than average, with these guys around him, could be nasty.
Can Levis take that jump that they're hoping that he can take? And I agree with D-Hop. He's going into his 12th season. He's no longer that 1A wide receiver being an alpha. Listen, Calvin Ridley is the number 1 wide receiver.
Yes, he is.
If you put him on 32 of these teams, he's arguably the best wide receiver on that team.
Come on. This is all I've been saying. I don't expect to tune into these channels and watch people say that the Titans are going to win the Super Bowl or the Titans are going to the Super Bowl. I don't expect that. I don't think that's, I'm not crazy. I don't expect people to get on here and say the Titans are going to win the AFC South. I don't even expect that. But with the moves they've made, right? The moves they've made, Calvin Ridley, L'Jarius Sneed, Lloyd Cushenberry, Tony Pollard, Chido Awuzie, drafting J.C. Latham, Sebastian Joseph Day. I mean, these are not bums. They've done a lot in a short period of time, and it deserves credit. I'm not saying you got to pick them over Houston. I'm not saying you got to pick them to go to the Super Bowl, but the least you could do is not project them to be drafting in the top 5 just because you personally don't care about them.
You put him on the Jets, he's the number 1 wide receiver. You add Tyler Boyd to the mix and D-Hop. When I said that the Houston Texans probably had the best wide receiver group when they added Stephon Diggs, but with the addition with Tyler Boyd and Calvin Ridley, I really think.
Just think about this, and I'm looking at the list here: Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard, Lloyd Cushenberry, who's a top quality center, Chidobe Awuzie, who's a start cornerback. You got Kenneth Murray Jr., who's a linebacker. You had another offensive lineman in Sadiq Charles. You had Sebastian Joseph Day, who gives them help on the defensive line. And all of a sudden, you're looking at this team, you're going, I hate to say it, but hot damn.
Why do you hate to say it? Let's talk about that. Why do you hate to say it? I mean, I think he's telling on a lot of the national media. Why? Hey, I hate to say it, but these Titans, why do you hate to say it? Why do you hate it? Because it's not as fun. It's not as pretty as the idea of C.J. Stroud to Houston Texans. It's not as entertaining as Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. It's not as fun to talk about as the Cowboys. Why do you hate to say it? Not just on this show, but on any show. They all hate to say it. Why is that? Why do you hate to say it?
Listen,
I got some talent
I don't think that they're being slept on. They're just in the AFC South for the Tennessee.
Hot damn.
No, they're not being slept on this show, but on a lot of shows, they're not even mentioned.
The Houston Texans.
Yeah, look, they're all chasing the Texans.
Right.
That being said, you still have a second-year quarterback in C.J. Stroud, right? So when you look at those two teams, because the Texans had the great first-year success with C.J. Stroud, went to the playoffs, won a playoff game, damn near won a second playoff game, we kind of
They got stomped pretty good by the Ravens in that second playoff game. I'll just throw that out. They did not
Pole
almost
vaulted
win.
them above everybody else. Titans are going to be a good football team. Yeah, don't sleep on them. They're going to be good.
Well, moving on to a...
I mean, I do agree with that idea of, like, you know, why are we just acting like the Houston Texans are a sure thing? Obviously, I'm not taking away from what C.J. Stroud was able to do his rookie year. He was sensational. Their whole team, like, they overachieved. I mean, they won the division and won a playoff game. So I'm not taking anything away from that. I understand that the Texans were great last year. And so I get it. Of course, you're going to go by what you have, and you're going to say, hey, it only stands to reason that C.J. Stroud's going to be great again, and Houston's going to be great again. They added Stephon Diggs, made some big additions defensively. Don't we know it? Because some of those additions were Azeez Al-Shire and Danico Autry from Titans. That's fine. But are we going to act like we've never seen a sophomore slump? You remember, like, some of these quarterbacks that we've seen come out and tear it up one year, and then there's so much expectation placed on them the next year that it just all falls apart? I'm not saying that's going to happen. Part of me wants it to, just because they're Houston and they're in our division, but everybody's just assuming, not just in terms of the AFC South, but in terms of the AFC as a whole. Everybody's just assuming, well, clearly the Texans are coming out of the AFC South, and, you know, obviously, but hey, is it that far-fetched to think that C.J. Stroud could have a sophomore slump? Is it impossible to believe or to possibly see that C.J. Stroud could possibly take a step back in year two? I mean, is it at all, when you have as great of a rookie year as he had, are we going to act like it's just impossible, unheard of, that he could possibly regress at all? Are you going to tell me it's impossible that Stephon Diggs could end up being unhappy in Houston, especially considering the fact that he's essentially a one-year rental on a contract year, pretty much, where he's going to be a free agent next offseason? You're going to tell me it's impossible to foresee that Stephon Diggs could be unhappy? You're going to tell me it's impossible that Houston might not live up to those expectations? You're going to tell me it's impossible that Will Levis could be pretty darn good? Like the guy said, better than average. You're going to tell me that's impossible? It's just, you can't even imagine it? You're going to tell me that it's not far-fetched to assume that Anthony Richardson's going to be great, but it's totally out of the realm of possibility that Will Levis could be great with all these dudes around him? Come on. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying, let's put a little respect on what Tennessee has done this offseason. Let's put a little bit of respect on the name of Calvin Ridley, L'Jarius Sneed, and some of these others that they brought in. These are not bums. That's all I ask. Just a little bit of RESPECT.